Welcome to Vadodara and the art of making up. Hello there, welcome back to profneel. It's a pleasure having you here. Normally, for any professional, the first job placement that he gets, that's a place where lessons that he learns leave the lasting impressions on him, for a lifetime. More so, which comes from a seasoned campaigner, an experienced person. Then that professional learns some good lessons to practice it for his life and then share it also with others so that culture continues. There I was at Welcome to Vadodara, now ITC Vadodara 5-star hotel, then also now also. My campus placement in 1986 as the front office supervisor. I'd done the Saturday night shift, allowed to continue up to Sunday morning about lunch, 12 o'clock, and then take it and then go home. But Monday was an off day. So they allowed me that after a night to 1 week of night shift to have a little extra time. But I would only be relieved once my reliever came and I handed over my shift. The army model, you see, I could not leave otherwise. There was a room service complaint from a guest, and the guest really had a major problem. So I followed procedure. I informed the manager on duty, and I logged it in the logbook. Standard procedure. In about half an hour time, in 30 minutes or so, I witnessed Mr. Atul Chara, the food and beverage manager, storming into the hotel, and I could make out there was a thunderstorm brewing somewhere. He was a man with whom I got along very well. He was a very jovial person. I got along better with him than with my own HOD. And I thought I was wondering who's going to be the victim of his tongue lashing, because he had a fantastic sense of humor and an equally terrible temper. And then he summoned me back. He summoned me into the back office. And I got the worst, or rather the first tongue lashing of my life ever at the workplace. He did not give me a chance to say anything. It was in Punjabi, it was in English, the choicest expletives in Punjabi, and the finest public school English that he had. I was speechless. I was shocked. I was close to tears because normally we both got along very well. I was close to tears because it was my first job. I was 18, and what I had done, I had followed procedure, and I was a victim. So I was waiting for my reliever to come in, and I hand over the shift because I was under a cloud. So Mr. Atul Channa had fired me for following procedure. So I thought. And the minute the reliever came, I was so happy. I want to go to the locker room, remove my uniform, put it there, along with the memories of the day. That's where they belonged. I wanted to keep it there before I went off home. But as I was being relieved, I got a message that I had to visit the Channas at the residence in the evening. Now, Mrs. Sumati Channa, his wife, was a banquet sales manager. So I was wondering, was the Sunday morning service would be followed by a Sunday evening sermon? Anyway, I went there in the evening with a bunch of flowers for her and a box of chocolates for the 8-year-old son. And I like the couple very much. Both Punjabis, both the Fauji background, and both had a fantastic sense of humor. And more so, Mrs. Channa, with whom I got along very well also. She laughed like a typical Punjabi lady would. She laughed out loud, and I loved it. And at the door was Mr. Channa himself. And very warm welcome, very warm greeting. And typically, with this twinkle in his eye, and Punjabi, the banter. What are you doing over there for so long? You want me to keep holding the door for you all evening? Am I a doorman? This was a smile and twinkle, of course. So, I stepped in and I was seated. An ITC classic cigarette packet was put on the table for me, and a drink was poured for me. And then he sat back and kept smiling at me for a long time. There was no word spoken till Mrs. Channa came in. Now, I was not uncomfortable, but I knew that he was up to something and something mischievous, but that was his style. But I could get the aroma of a nice Punjabi meal being cooked, a rajma or chole and some paneer, I think. And once she came in and settled down, we were having a drink, and she also had a drink, and then he told me, he says, Neil, I apologize for lashing out at you, verbally lashing out at you. When I came home, I realized, Sumati told me, Atul, it was not his fault, you realize. You are a seasoned campaigner. That boy is just he's new in the industry. He followed procedure. But it is our responsibility to tell him he was not wrong, but how he could learn better. So I thought I'll go back to the hotel and invite you for a cup of coffee, the tea in my office, apologize to you and let the matter be where it is in the past. But someone said, no, it's too serious a matter. I know him well. We'll call him for dinner in the evening, and then he'll be at home. And the morning events would have gone past off his mind after a long time back. And then we'll see how it goes. But we have to help this boy get out of his cloud. He would be under a cloud. So he said, I want to do that tea and thing, but she said, no, bring him home. Bring him home. And Mr. Channa said, I believe, that he may not come. She said, no, he will. I know him well. He must be afraid of me. So what happened was that to the room service complaint. And I had a major complaint. So I had, as usual, informed the manager on duty, locked down the procedure in the logbook. Then he told me that, Neil, you follow procedure. I know. But you could learn better because you don't know, but I will now tell you how to do better. No HOD likes to be called up by his GM in the morning, that on a Sunday morning, and to ask for an explanation as to what happened. He doesn't have a clue as to what happened. And that's what happened this morning. And that's why I was very angry. But now I apologize. And he was truly very contrite. I could make out by his body language, his face. He was intending to make up. He says, you have to follow procedure, but more important, follow the norm. Before you inform the MOD, the manager on duty, or log down the complaint and what happened after that, how you solve the problem, inform the concerned HOD always. So the person has a chance to get back to his department, find out what the problem is, has his homework ready in case the GM calls. He says follow that norm always. But do follow procedure also, not just the norm. Procedure is important, but the norm of informing the concerned HOD first is very important. Do I have to state how many whiskeys I enjoyed? And the manner in which the couple are both Punjabis, both with a Fauji background, were all over me, trying to feed me. It was devastating for a guest. And I wanted to walk home so I could digest that 40 or 50 kilos that I had put on during the dinner. Because it was a typical Punjabi food, heavy in all aspects, right from the first course to the end. So I thought I'll walk down home. He says, no, we'll drop you home. So they dropped me home, and on the way they stopped for ice cream also. That was one of the finest learnings of my life on how to cultivate the art of making up. Memories of the evening are still very, very dear to me. They make me smile. They put a smile on my face. But the lesson I learned that day was invaluable. At times it's pragmatic, not following the book, but to go with the norm as an enlightened Neil does to avoid a storm in the teacup now and to nurture a beautiful relationship with folks, nice folks like the Channas. So I learned how to inform in future, in always then after that, I always inform the concerned HOD, then follow procedure, thereby avoiding unnecessary problems. But instead, fructifying a relationship or beautifying a relationship. I did this all along my career later, and at Pusa as a teacher, I did this with my students, their parents, when they came to meet me. I ensured that the parents were well treated, they were seated, they had their tea, their coffee, their cookies, and savories, knickknacks. And then I never ever told them that the song is bad. No. I always ensured that this child was doing very well. So when they went back home, went back with a little bit of a smile. The procedure would have been to tell them, nah, he's bunking classes, he's got 20%. I didn't do that. I sent him home with a, he's improving. Don't worry, he'll improve. I'm taking care of it. I'll improve. He'll improve. Or she'll improve. So remember, it's important to follow procedure, but it's always better to follow the norm first, then the procedure. Embrace the twist to enjoy the turn. Thank you. Bye-bye.